Dear student, sincerely apologize for the inconvenient cause. There is some electricity failure happening, and the video session automatically stopped. And so then we will discuss again about the population regarding the elements. Okay, so what we identify as elements in our study. So we stop with our population. So I prefer with the University of USJ. USJ as the 6 faculties I take in my population. 6 faculties undergraduate. I consider as the population of my study. Then elements mean the single member of the population. Since my population is consist with the undergraduates, so my element is the undergraduate and undergraduate, right? So my element is undergraduate and undergraduate. Okay. So if you are selecting the company, right now for an example, if you are selecting, if you say the company, say small businesses. Small businesses as your population, right? For an example, small businesses in Western Province. Province, right? Small businesses in Western Province. Then who is the element? What is the single unit of your population? Can you ask question from the business? Can you collect data from the business? Right? If you are selecting the business as a target population, right? If you are referring the secondary data of that small businesses, like their financial reports, right? So then your element B element are a business, right? Your element is a business, right? Because you are referring the secondary data, right? Not the primary data. You refer the business and you refer as a reports. That is your element, the financial reports, right? Let's say it's the financial reports. But if you take the element as the data collection, that means you prepare a questionnaire and try to collect from the people, right? Then who are the elements of the small business, right? Who is the single member of your small business, right? Where you get the data from the small business. So definitely you either you go with the owner of the small business, or the manager of the small business, right? So based on your target population and where you focusing to collect data, you have to decide your element, right? If you are going with the small businesses in Western Province, your target population is small businesses registered in Western Province, right? Then if you prefer with the secondary data analysis, that means you collect their financial report, you collect their marketing report, etc., and try to figure it out your research problem, then your element are the financial reports. And simply your element is a business. But if you prefer to interview the people who are engaged in the small businesses and try to know about their strategies of the survival, etc., so your elements are owner of the small business or the manager of the small business, or maybe employee in small business, right? So this is the way you need to decide who are the population or who is the target population of your study and who is the best possible element in your target population in order to collect data for your study, right? So these are the main key things you need to concern about the population of the study, right? Okay. So then let's move in with the sample. Let's move in with the sample. What is a sample? Right? Now for an example, assuming that in my case, in my example, my target population is whom? The 6 faculties in the University of Sri Jagadhanapura. Right? So my one is the 6 faculties. USJ and it's undergraduate. Right? If you remember what we discussed in the previous one, right? If you look at the previous slide, I said my population as the total number of undergraduates enrolled with the 6 faculties in the University of Sri Jagadhanapura. So when my study is conducting, there are approximately, not approximately, there are exactly 12,650 students. Right? Where I get that data? Because students are registered in the university, we can easily know the number of students available in the university right now. Right? Each faculty has that knowledge, has that records. Then I know I have 12,650 target population elements in my study. Right? Then let's go back to the sample. Now, in my way, I have 12,650 students. Right? So my target population, it consists of 12,650 students. This is my target population. Right? Now I'm asking you a question. Is it possible for me to examine all 12,650 people, environmental citizenship behavior and their personality traits? මම සරල ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්නේ මට පුළුවන්ද යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ මේ වෙනකොට ඉන්න 12650ක් වෙච්ච අන්ඩර්ග්‍රැජුවේට්ස් ලගෙන් තොරතුරු ලබා ගන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ environmental citizenship behavior එක සහ personality trait ගැන? Right? It can, but what are the limitations? What are the challenges I have faced? I have to spend so much of time to collect data. And I have to spend so much of money to collect data. And I have to put so much of effort to collect data. And all the things are limited with the given time frame. Right? Since you have only 6 and 8 months to complete your study, right? You are not in a position to cover entire target population. Right? So this is why in the research, we need to get the portion of the target population and we examine that portion for our study. Right? So, අපිට සම්පූර්ණ target population එකම cover කරන්න බෑ. Right? අපි අඳුනගත්තට මේගොල්ලෝ තමයි අපිට interested party අපේ study එක conduct කරන්න කියලා අපිට ඔක්කොම study කර ඉන්න බෑ. ඒකට අපිට time එකකුත් නැහැ, ඒකට අපිට අවශ්‍ය මුදලුත් නැහැ. ඒ වගේ effort එකක් අපිට දරන්නත් බෑ. Right? Therefore, in a research, we have to get the subcomponent out of the population. So that subcomponent we call as sample. Right? So in my study, I need to decide how much or how many undergraduates need to cover in my study. Right? Now, 12,650 is my target population, and my element is undergraduates. Am I going to cover those 12,650 undergraduates for my study? No, it is impossible. Right? It is impractical. It's not practical way. Right? So I have to grab some portion from the sample of the population. So this is what we call sample. Now, if this is your population, right, you have to take part of this population. So this part we call sample. Right? Even in statistics, you heard this word, you practice this word, right? Okay, you take the portion and try to generalize it to the population. Right? So that is what we are doing in the research also. Okay, so we have to take the subgroup of the population, or we have to take the subset of the population. So this is the subgroup as well as a subset of this entire population. Right? Now the next question is how we decide this part. How we decide the subset or subgroup of the population. Right? So that is what we call the process of sampling. Right? ඔකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ sampling කරනවා. Sampling එක කියන research එකේ. Right? අපිට තියෙන target population එකෙන් portion එකක් අපි ගන්න ඕනේ sample එකක් විදියට. Right? So sample means the subset or subgroup of the population. Right? So our next question we need to answer how we decide or how we design that subset or subgroup of the population. So in order to answer that question, we need to know about the sampling process. Right? We call it as a sample design. Right? So sampling is the process of selecting sufficient number of right element from the population. එහෙනම් දැන් මම බලන්න ඕනේ මගේ 12650න් කීයක් මම 12650න් මම කී දෙනෙක්ව ගන්නවද sample එක විදියට කියලා. So out of this 12,600 people, 600 undergraduate, how many subcomponent I take it as a sample? Right? So you cannot decide from out of this much of large population, you cannot decide I take 100 undergraduate. I take 200 undergraduate. Right? So you cannot decide that way. Right? I told you that research is a systematic process. Whatever we are taking as a step, we have to follow scientific method. Okay, so this is why when we are selecting the sample in our target population, we have to follow the sampling process. Right? We have to follow the sampling process. Right? Once we are going to deciding the sampling method, sampling design, first of all, we have to define our population as what we discussed so far. Right? ඉස්සෙල්ලාම අපේ population එක අපි define කරගන්නවා. So in my case, in my example, I define my population as undergraduates enrolled with 6 faculties in University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Okay? And other most important thing you have to remember when you are selecting your target population, you have to justify why you select that target population for your study. දැන් අපිට කටට එන විදිහට කියන්න බෑ මගේ target population එක තමයි undergraduates ලා University of Sri Jayawardhanapura register වෙලා ඉන්නේ. You cannot do that. Right? So you cannot select that small businesses in Western province without given any clear justification. Right? I told you that research is always giving justification. Right? So even when you are selecting your population, you have to give the justification why you focusing on that particular population. Right? So in my justification to select the undergraduates enrolled in the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, 6 faculties, I come across it with, so that university counted with large number of students in Sri Lanka. Large number of undergraduate registered university in Sri Lanka. Right? So since it represents in large number of undergraduate registered in the state university, I can justify why I select that university. Right? එතකොට මම University of Sri Jayawardhanapura එකේ 6 faculty select කරගත්ත එකට justification එක දෙන්නේ කොහොමද? ලංකාවේ state universities වල register වෙලා ඉන්න students ලා බලනකොට University of Sri Jayawardhanapura තමයි විශාලම ළමයි සංඛ්‍යාවක් register වෙන්නේ. Right? So that is my justification. Right? So likewise, you need to give justification for your target population selection. Okay? So on the other hand, I can say This is the faculty this is the university which are having large number of different faculties. So I can get the different view from the student who are enrolling with different faculties. That's why I select University of Sri Jawadarnapura as my target population. Undergraduates who are enrolling in the University of Sri Jawadarnapura as my target population. Likewise, you have to give the clear justification with proper evidence. Then නිකන් කියන්න බෑ ලංකාවේ මේ වැඩිම ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස් ලා ඉන්නේ මේක කියලා. ඒකට වගේ නෝනේ UGC එකේ එවිඩන්ස් වලින් පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ. මේකේ තමයි වැඩිම සංඛ්‍යාවක් ඉන්නේ කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ රෙකෝඩ්ස් වලින් අපි තමයි වැඩිම ෆැකල්ටි ගානක් රන් කරන යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ කියලා. Right? එහෙම ඒ වගේ හැම වෙලේම ගේනවා. Now for an example, if you are going with the small businesses and you select the Western Province small businesses, like what we discussed earlier, right? So you have to give the justification why you specific for the Western Province small businesses. එතකොට ඔයා ගේන්න ඕනේ clear logic එකක්. ඇයි Western Province වල තියෙන small businesses විතරක් ඔයා target කරන්නේ? ඇයි අනිත් provinces වලට මොකද උනේ? Right? So in that case, you can say that the large number of businesses are registered in Western Province in Sri Lanka. So අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් majority එකක් වශයෙන් අපිට සමස්තයක් වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් වැඩිපුරම businesses register වෙලා ඉන්නේ Western Province එකේ. Right? So then you have to give the statistics for that. Right? You have to show how many small businesses registered in other provinces as well as the Western Province. Okay, so this is the way. Always you have to give justification. Right? So then you need to define the population. So defining means you have to say what is your population and you have to say why you select that population. Okay, so it doesn't mean that just say this is my population. Okay, in here you have to say what is your population. Right? What is your population and why you select it? Okay, you have to give justification. So these are the way once you are defining the target population. Right? And the second thing, the second component in the sampling process, you have to determine the sample frame. Right? So what is the sample frame? What does the sample frame mean to you? What do you mean by the sample frame? Right? Now for an example, if we consider about the undergraduate in universities, undergraduates in SJP, right? Can we get the detail of the student who registered in a SJP as an undergraduate? Can we get the registration? Can we get their registered detail? Yes. How? Because each and every student who are enrolling in the university, they have to register and their information database or their database are available in the university administration. Right? Or in UGC, you can get the registration detail. Right? So that is we call sample frame. But sometimes it called population frame. Right? So the sample frame means the physical representation of all the elements in the population for which sample is drawn. Right? Likewise, your attendance sheet. Right? If I need to get the sample from, or if I need to get the sample from your batch, right? Where I can get the information about you. So I can easily get the information from the attendance sheet. Right? And if you want to get the information about the Western Province registered small businesses, you can go with the Ministry of Industry and you can ask the registration of the small businesses in Western Province. Right? If it is available and if you get the detail of the Western Province small businesses registered, so that detail sheet we call sample frame. That detail we call sample frame. Right? So I believe that you get the understanding about what is the meaning of sample frame. Right? So sample frame එකක් කියන එක මම හිතන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දැන් පැහැදිලි. Sample frame එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ target population එකේ ඉන්න ඔක්කොම elements පිළිබඳ විස්තර ඇතුළත් වෙච්ච යම් document එකක් අපි ඒකට කියන physical representation එකක් තියෙනවා නම් document එකක් කියන්නේ physical representation එකක් නේ. එහෙම තියෙනවා නම් අපි එතන කියනවා අපි ළඟ sample frame එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. Right? Now, again another example. You are referring with the consumer behavior as your problem. Right? ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ problem එක තමයි consumer behavior ට අදාළ මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් හොයන එක. Right? Do you have the detail of the consumers in Sri Lanka in a piece of one document? දැන් අපිට තියෙනවද ලංකාවේ ඉන්න සියලුම consumers ලාගේ document එක document එකක් අපිට refer කරන්න? No. Why? Because that type of database are not available in Sri Lanka. Right? But if you are going with the bank, right? If you are referring with the bank customers, right? So bank has their customers database, right? See the difference. If you are going with the consumer pattern, the general consumer pattern, we don't have that kind of databases. But if you are going with the banking customers, right? Bank has their own databases, right? So then we have that sample frame. But remember, even the bank has their own customer database. They are not revealing it to the third party like you. Right? The bank will have customer database. Have customer database? No, because it is a violation of banking practices. Right? So remember, some cases we can see the physical representation. Right? But in some cases we cannot see there is a physical databases available. Right? In some cases, there are physical databases available, but you don't have access. Right? So therefore, you have to define your sample. You need to make sure that whether you have a sample frame or not. So I let you know why this sample frame is important for you. Right? Sample frame right? So up to now level, once you define your target population, that means once you say what is your population and why you select it, next you have to make sure that whether sample frame is available or not. Right? If we have sample frame, our sampling process is very simple, very easy. But if you don't have that sort of sample frame, like consumer databases or banking customer databases, then we have to go with another strategy. We will discuss it later, right? Then we have to decide, we have to determine what is our sample design, right? We have different approaches for that, right? Then we have to determine what is the sample size. Now I told you that I have 12,650 undergraduates, right? So it is not practical to go with 12,650 undergraduates. So I have to determine what is my sample size. Is it 100? Is it 200? Is it 300 or more than that? How I decide, right? That's the thing we discussed today, right? Then we have to execute our sampling process. Then we need to finalize our sample decision, right? So here you need to make sure that what is your population and why you select it, whether your population has sample frame, whether you have clear document to see the detail of your target population, right? Each element of your target population, do you have that information? You have to see, right? Then you need to determine your sample design and you have to decide your sample size and you have to make the decision of your sample. Right? So this is the thing we discussed today in this session in more detail. Okay? Right. Let's go with the sample design. Now in this case, we have to determine the sample design. Right? We come to the sample frame with this sample design. Right? So basically there are two main types of sample design. Basically there are two main types. We call probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Right? What do you mean by probability? ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක කතා කරලා ඇති මම හිතන්නේ ස්ටැට් වල එහෙම probability කියන එක කතා කරනවා. මොකක්ද මේ probability කියලා කියන්නේ? Right? What is mean by probability? Right? අපි මේකට කියන්නේ සම්භාවිතාවය කියලා නේද? සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ නේ සම්භාවිතාවය. Right? So probability sampling mean, right? Now we know we have target population. We have target population. Now we need to select some portion out of that target population. Okay, so once we apply probability sampling method or techniques, what we are going to discuss later, the selection procedure should aim to guarantee that each element has an equal chance of being selected as a sample. If you are selecting the probability sampling in order to select the subcomponent or the subgroup from your population, so probability sampling guarantee that each element in your population has an equal chance to be selected as a sample. දැන් අපි probability sampling කියන method එක එහෙම නැත්නම් technique එක අපි use කරනවා නම් අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන් guarantee අපේ ඉන්න target population එකේ elements වලට ඒ element හැම එකකටම හම්බ වෙනවා සමාන වූ අවස්ථාවක් sample එක විදිහට select වීමෙන්. But it doesn't mean that each element in the population coming as a sample. It says each element in the population has an equal chance to be selected as a sample. හැමෝටම අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි select වෙන්නේ කීප දෙනෙක්. They have equal chance. Right? So, if you are going with the probability sampling technique, it gives the most reliable representation of your population. Why? Because it's give equal chance of each element in the sample to be selected as a sample frame. Okay? So, this is what we call probability sampling. Now, for an example, let's see. Now, in your batch, there are 125 students, undergraduates, right? Now, if consider my target population is 125 students in your batch. Now, හිතන්න මම මගේ මොකක් හරි ස්ටඩි එකකට ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ batch එක ගන්නවා. ඕගොල්ලෝ තමයි මගේ target population එක. Now, I cannot study 125 students at all. මට ඔක්කොම study කරන්න බෑ. So, I have to select the sample out of that 125. Right? What I can do under the probability sampling mean, right? I write 125. I write number 125 in each 125 pieces, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Mama කොළ කෑලි 125ක් අරගෙන numbers 1 ඉඳලා 125 ලියනවා. I take piece of paper and write numbers on each page of paper from 1 to 125. Right? Then I make it roll or make it into that others cannot see the number. Right? Then I pick 50 piece of paper out of it, one by one. Right? දැන් අර මම අර කොළ ලියපු 125ම එක roll කරලා හරි පොඩි කරලා හරි මොකක් හරි කරලා ඕකෙන් මම විටින් විට numbers 50ක් ඒ කියන්නේ කොළ කැලි 50ක් ගන්නවා. Right? I pick 50 piece of paper out of that 125. Right? So I give equal chance for all 125 of your population and I pick 50 out of it. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ හැම ළමයෙකුටම අර 50ට ඇතුළු වීමේ අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි select වෙන්නේ නැහැ. But everyone has a chance. Why? I put 125 all into that selection. But if I take only one from 1 to 100, then මම 125ම numbers ලියන්නේ නැතුව එකේ ඉඳලා 100ට numbers දාලා ඒකෙන් 50ක් තෝරනවා. Is there a probability of selecting as if I give equal chance to each student in your batch? No. Why? I only take 100. 1 to 100 numbers. Then what happened to the remaining 25? They don't have a chance to be selected as a sample. So this is the simple meaning of probability sampling. Right? This is a simple meaning. Why? Because each and every student in that 125 has equal chance to be selected as a 50. Right? So this is what we call probability sampling. Okay? This is what we call probability sampling. Right? So under the probability sampling, there are several techniques we can apply to select sample. Techniques make it. We call it as simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. Right? Now, other important things coming under the probability sampling is, right? If you are applying the probability sampling to select your sample out of the population, remember you need to have what we call sample framework. You need to have that sample framework. Remember that point, right? You need to have that physical document which including all the details of your target population, all the detail of the elements of your target population. මතක තියාගන්න පුතාලා හැම වෙලේම probability sampling techniques වලට අපි යනවා නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඕගොල්ලෝ ළඟ තියෙන්න ඕනේ sample framework. If you doesn't have sample framework, we cannot go with the probability sampling techniques. Right? Why I select that 125? Because I have your attendance sheet. Right? And I know your detail of each student. Your CPM number, your MC, and your name. I have that detail. Right? Then once I pick number from 1 to 125, if I take the 10 as out of that one, I know the number 10 student detail. So මම දන්නවා 10 වෙනි ළමයාගේ detail ටික. Right? If I pick 49 number, I know the detail of that 49. If I pick 98 number, I know the detail of that 98 student. Right? ඒ හින්දා අපි probability sampling use කරනවා නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම sample framework එක තිබිය යුතුයි. Right? If you don't have that sample framework like consumers in Sri Lanka, right, as well as the banking customers, though bank has that sample framework, we don't have it. We don't have access to it. Right? You cannot use the probability sampling technique. But you know the listed number of companies in Sri Lanka, right? The companies who are listed in Colombo Stock Exchange, right? And if you select in the bank as your target population, you know the number of banks available in Sri Lanka and their detail, right? And if you are referring financial reports of the banks, right, you can use the probability sampling. Why? All the details are available in the document. Right? If you go with the small businesses in Western Province and you know the registered detail of that Western Province small businesses, you can go with the probability sampling. Why? The sample framework is available. Right? So remember very clearly, right? What is the main reasons that the research can apply probability and non-probability sampling? The main reason is if sample framework is available, you have to go with probability sampling technique. If you don't have the sample framework or if you don't have access to the sample framework or the detail of the elements in your population, you have to go with the non-probability sampling technique. Right? So I believe you understand meaning of probability sampling. Right? අපිට අර සමාන අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න නම් අපි හැම වෙලේම දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ ටාගට් පොපියුලේෂන් එකේ එලිමන්ට්ස් වල විස්තර. එහෙම නැතුව අපිට සමාන අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න බෑ. Right? So then what is the meaning of non-probability sampling? What is the meaning of non-probability? So under the non-probability, remember you don't have sample framework. Right? You don't have sample framework. Right? We don't know about the detail of our undergraduates. and we don't have access to that detail. So then we have to go with non-probability sampling technique. So here non-probability means we don't give equal chance of each elements in your population to be selected as sample. අය අපිට target framework එකක් නැහැ නේ. එතකොට අපි දන්නේ නැහැ කී දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද, ඒතර කී දෙනෙක් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් දෙයකින් ඒ විස්තර අපිට නැහැ. right? ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවක අපිට යන්න වෙන්නේ non probability sampling වලට. Right? So this is why we call, right, use when there is a difficulty to access the whole population. Right? Like the bank customers. Okay, so we have to go with non-probability sampling technique. Okay, and the consumers in Sri Lanka. We have to go with non-probability sampling. Right? And remember, the main disadvantage of going with the non-probability sampling technique instead of the probability sampling technique, it is very difficult to generalize our findings to the population. Right? What do you mean by generalize? Now we know that we cannot study entire population, but we have to take some representative portion of our population. Right? If we can able to select representative portion of our target population, then only we can say our results can be applying to the target population. Right? එහෙම නැතුව දැන් අපිට ඕන පැත් වලින් අපි කට්ටිය තෝරගෙන අපිට ඕන විදිහට data collect කරගෙන අපි result එකක් දුන්නට අපිට කියන්න බෑ ඒ result එක අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච population එකටම apply කර හැකි කියලා. Right? So that's the main limitation in non-probability sampling technique. That's why we always encourage our students, our undergraduates, to go with the probability sampling technique as much as possible. Right? Then when you are selecting your problem, better you can go with the population which you can have the detail of the population elements. Now, පුළුවන් තරම් තමන් ගන්න problem එක address කරන්න බලන්න තමන්ට access තියෙන target population elements වලට. Right? ඒක තමයි අපි ගන්න ඕන main point එක. So likewise, the probability sampling technique, non-probability sampling technique, we have several methods, several techniques. We can use convenient sampling, right? And we can use quota sampling, purposive sampling, and snowball sampling. So these are the main techniques coming under non-probability sampling, right? So remember the key point, what we discussed under the sample design, we discussed with the probability and non-probability sampling. Remember very thoroughly, if you have the detail of the population elements, what we call sample framework, you can go with probability sampling techniques like simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified and cluster sampling. But unfortunately, if you don't know the details, or if you don't know the information about your target population elements, anyhow you have to go with non-probability sampling techniques like convenient sampling, quota sampling, purposive sampling, or snowball sampling. Okay, so these are the main key designs of the sample. Right? Then let's see about the probability sampling techniques one by one. Right? We discuss about the probability sampling technique one by one. First, coming under the probability sampling technique, right? This is basically coming with the quantitative research type, right? Specifically, quantitative research are much prefer to go with probability sampling technique, right? So the main component coming under, main techniques coming under probability sampling technique is simple random sampling, right? Simple random sampling. What is this simple random mean? What do you mean by random? What do you mean by random? අපි සාමාන්‍ය random කියලා කියන්නේ. Randomly අපි select කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. What do you mean by simple random sampling? It's basically, now for an example, assuming that you are having the registration of your student, of our batch. Now I have your registration detail, right? Your attendance sheet, right? I have your attendance sheet. So how many students are there? There are maybe 100, we say 125 student details are appeared in that attendance sheet, right? Now for an example, I want to select, right? I want to select 50 out of this 120. I want to select 50 student out of 125. What can I do? As I explained you previously, I can take piece of 120 piece of papers and write number 1 to 125 for that piece of paper one by one, right? And then I pick randomly 50 numbers, 50 piece of papers. Then I check what are the numbers appeared in that 50 piece of paper. Right? Ara 125 numbers ලියලා මම draw එකක් අදිනවා. අර අපි කියන්නේ lottery අදිනවා වගේ. ඒක randomly මම කොළ කැලි 50ක් ගන්නවා. එක එක ගන්නවා 50 පාරක්. Right? So then I might be pick number 5 first, then number 12 second, and 8 next. Then we say 99 next, right? Then 101 next, right? So likewise, I select 50 students. Right? අර එකේ ඉඳලා 25 ඊට පස්සේ මම අහනවා කවුද පස්වෙනි නම්බර් එක තියෙන ළමයා? කවුද 12 වෙනියට ඉන්නේ attendance sheet එකේ? කවුද 99 වෙනියට ඉන්නේ? Likewise, I select them randomly. So this is what we call random selection. මේකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ randomly select කරනවා. Right? So where we can apply this method? Where we can apply this method? Right? Remember, if our population is too large, right? If our population is too large, like 12,650 students, we cannot use this method. Yeah, අපි හිතමු අපිට ඉන්න ළමයි 12650ක් undergraduates ලා. මට පුළුවන් ද මේ කොළ කැලි 12650ක් ලියාගෙන මේ one by one pick කර කර මට ඕන ගාන ගන්න? It's impractical, right? It's impractical. So this kind of simple random sampling techniques can be applied when population is small, like 125, like 200, 250. Right? And their characteristics are related, somewhat homogeneous. Now, if I take your batch, right, your age are same, right? Your education level is same, right? So, some other example like your Z scores are relatively same, right? So that is we call homogeneous characteristics. And if the population is relatively small as well as consistent with the homogeneous characteristic, we can go along with simple random sampling. Remember that. Right? ඉතින් හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න sampling technique තිබ්බට අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ හරියටම කොයි අවස්ථාවේද මේ technique අපිට apply කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. Right? Even the word says simple random sampling, we cannot use that method for each and every population. Okay? So this is what we call simple random sampling. This is what we see in the lottery system. Right? We use lottery system to select sample. Right? Now in Excel also this simple random sampling you can use. Excel වල තියෙන මේක use කරන්න. එයා pick කරලා දෙනවා. අපි population එක දාලා අපිට ඕන sample එක දැම්මම එයා numbers pick කරනවා registration එකේ. Right? You can do that also. I don't know how to do it, but there are some technique in Excel. Right? Another one we call systematic sampling. What is a systematic mean? Right? Now for an example, let's see the same example what we discussed earlier. Right? I have population of 125 undergraduates. I have 125 undergraduates. Now I need to select 50 out of 125. Right? Now I have your register. I have your attendance sheet. So attendance sheet, it started from 1 and it's go with like 1, 2 and 3 and likewise it's go with 125. Right? So මේක ASE මේකේ තියෙනවා 125ට යනකම් යනවා. Right? In a systematic sampling, what we can do is, you can arrange the target population according to some order, like your attendance sheet, right? And you have to calculate the irregular interval. What is a regular interval? How we calculate regular interval? Right? Now my target population is 125, right? So interval, right? How can I calculate interval? My target population is 125. I need to get 50 out of that 125. Then I have to divide target population into my sample size. So we will discuss how we collect the 50 later. Up to now, remember our sample size is 50. Right? So what is the answer? It might be how much? 2.4 or something. I'm not sure, right? In the 50, 100, 25 is over 2.5, sorry. 2.5. Right? So my interval is 2.5. What does that interval mean? What does that interval mean? What does that interval mean? Right? So interval mean if we select number 2 student first. Randomly we select numbers 2 student first. Api issalama registration එකේ number 2 කියන ළමයාව ගන්නවා. If we select number 2 first, who would be the next sample unit? Or who would be the next selection number? ඉතින් ඊළඟ එක්කෙනා කීයද වෙන්න ඕන? අපි 2.5 අපි කියමුකෝ 3ට අපි count කරමුකෝ 3ට. Who would be the next one? If you select 2, next one would be number 5. Right? If you select 2 as your first choice in the sample, your next choice should be, you have to give 3 interval. That is number 3. Right? There are 3 දෙනෙක් කරලා ඊළඟ ළමයා. Not 5, right? 3, 4, 5. Next one should be 6. Right? There are sample element දෙකක් අතර වෙනස වෙන්න ඕනේ number 3. අංක 3 කියන එක වෙනස විය යුතුයි. Right? So likewise, you can use the systematic sampling technique method. Okay, this is what we call systematic. So in the systematic, you have to decide your interval value. Then pick the first sample randomly and based on the interval value, select next sample units. Right? This is the way you have to do the probability sampling technique. Right. Let's move into the next method, what we call under the random sampling technique, probability sampling technique, we call stratified sampling. What do you mean by stratified? What do you mean by strata? ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා ඇති වාක්‍යනේ strata කියලා වචනේ මොකක්ද term එකේ තේරුම? What is the meaning of term strata? Strata mean groups. Strata mean groups. Right? So under the stratified sampling technique, what we're going to do is, you have to categorize your sample frame. That is your list. The list that including the detail of your target population elements into separate strata. You have to categorize them into separate strata. Okay, so that each strata, right, that strata can be should be represented in meaningful way. Right? Then group වල නිකන් හිතුණු ගන්නට බෙදන්න බෑ. ඒ බෙදන sub group එක sub category එක meaningful වෙන්න ඕනේ. Now for an example, we will take my example, okay? Right? Now I have 12,650 undergraduates, right? Representing 6 faculties. If I'm going to categorize my target population, that 12,650, what would be the best possible strata for me? What would be the best possible strata? First, I divide this 12,650 students to 6 faculties. Right? That's why I'm representing. Right? I divide that into 6 faculties. Right? From each faculty, I select the portion then. Right? Each faculty, I select the portion. Now, for an example, I need to say, assuming that my sample size equal 500. Right? So, out of 12,650, I need to get 500 undergraduates to conduct my study. Now my question is how I'm selecting that 500 student undergraduates, right? First of all, I divide that 12,650 students into 6 faculties. First of all, I divide, right? So for an example, assuming that I have, assuming that, right? For an approximately, I take management faculty, FMSC. There are 5,000 students, right? Per batch 1,250, 4 years, 5,000 students, right? Let's say social science and humanities faculty, right? There may be around 3,000 students, right? Then we say the faculty of applied science, there may be 2,000 students, right? Then the faculty of medical sciences, right? There may be around 1,000 students, right? Then the faculty of engineering, maybe 5,500 students. So likewise, you divide into the faculties. Then each faculty, you have to take the portion, representative portion. How we select the representative portion, right? From 500 sample out of 12,650, how much we going to represent through FMSC? Then you have to multiply it by 5,000. Then you get the numbers for that. So that amount we have to take from FMSC, right? So this is the way we call stratified sampling, right? Now for an example, we have to take, say out of 500, we have to take 150 from FMSC, right? For 300, we have to say 100, right? And for 2,000, we have to say 75, right? This is not actual calculation, but I try to say this is the portion representing each faculty, right? In here, it might be 50, right? And for next, it might be 25, etc. Likewise, you have to count 500 undergraduate out of 6 faculties. Okay, so you have to take the portion of each faculty, right? Then from each faculty out of, now for an example, in management faculty, we have to take 150 students out of 5,000. Then you have to, again, you can select whether I'm going with the academic years, right? Are we consider all 4-year students, or we only consider final year students? Likewise, you have to divide your target population into meaningful strata, right? And you have to representing each groups in your sample, right? You have to representing each group in your sample. This is we call stratified sampling. Sometimes it's called stratified random sampling. Why? First, you divide your groups into strata. So from each strata, you select sample based on random sampling technique, right? Then the last probability sampling technique we call cluster sampling. What is this? Actually, this is some kind of similar to stratified sampling, but under the cluster sampling, we divide the population into different clusters based on homogeneous characteristics. Right? Now, for an example, in the faculty, those are not homogeneous characteristics, right? The element representing different characteristics, right? Maybe male and female, different education level, different income level, right? Different resident places. Those are heterogeneous characteristics. But in cluster, each cluster representing homogeneous characteristics, right? Either you can divide your 12,600 group people into gender-wise, right? How many male students and how many female students, right? Then you select how many male students represent your sample and how many female students represent your sample, right? Or else you can divide them into academic level, academic year. That also we can take it as a cluster, right? Because first year student, second year student, they are having some kind of similar characteristic, right? Or else you can divide them into different demographic areas, geographical areas, And if you are collecting the consumer related data, you can divide the consumers into different geographic areas like Western Province, Eastern Province, Northwestern Province, etc. Right? So from each cluster, then you can use simple random sampling and then select sample from the cluster. Right? So now these are the explanation, these are the main techniques we can apply under the probability sampling technique. Now remember, again, I'm repeating that statement again. If you go along with the probability sampling technique, you have to have sample framework, including the details of your target population elements. Right? If you don't have that kind of sample framework, you cannot apply this simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified random sampling, or cluster sampling. Remember that point. Right? So in the next session, we will discuss about the non-probability sampling technique.